Welcome. Happy New Year. Please introduce yourselves. This is Naima Singletary here. This is beautiful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Introduce yourselves. I have been doing Facebook Lives inside of our private Opulent Living group on Facebook, which is reserved specifically for women coaches and visionary leaders around the world who like the privacy of a Facebook group. And it's time to change. It's time for me to reach more people. It's time for me to come and connect with the over 13,000 of you who have fanned our Facebook page here. And this is the first time. It's 2007. And I feel the expansion. It was time. It was time to come out of the group here onto the page. So I'm going to be sharing what I've come to know, being a woman who, even just 3 years ago, was living with my mother, had $7 to my name, was deeply depressed, didn't have any plans for my life, and I really separated from just living and being a human being. Greetings, Diane. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And to now, today, building a multiple six-figure, have already built a multiple six-figure, going into the high six figures, living here in my apartment in France. I actually just moved here from California earlier in December, and have just created some amazing things. I have team now, which is critical for you to create the money and to have the spaciousness to really do the work that you're uniquely made for. And there's just been so much good. The material level it's inevitable, right? That's going to happen. But what I want to get at, because I understand that this inner game of really cultivating your leadership, what I call being an unapologetic leader, and whatever that looks like for you, and bringing that out into the marketplace, that's what I'm getting at today. I want to get you from working hard, doing the job of 5 people who should have been on your team, who you should have hired months ago, but you're slaving away doing 5 people's jobs, to you cultivating the self-respect, the self-worthiness, the awareness that your vision is going to require so many more people than you. That you're not going to mop the floors and do the marketing and have the sales calls and build the website and design all the graphics and landscape the garden and keep the house clean and do all the cooking, and right? If you truly have been called to lead, and when you know, right? This is not something you can go get training on or, go get an MBA for. When you are called to lead, you know that you know that you know it's a God thing. And so I want to get you from this small, way that is pretty common into this grandness and self-reverence and self-respect, so that you can make the decisions that a leader needs to make, so that the vision that you've been endowed with actually happens. It's hot in here. I'm going to open this window. So, this is awesome and amazing. And what I love about Facebook Live is that people can watch the replay. So hello to those of you who will be watching the replay. So introduce yourselves. I'd love to know who is here. And perhaps we won't, I'm so used to having two-way communication inside of our private Facebook group, but perhaps in this public space, people don't feel as connected to me. At least not yet, because this is my first Facebook Live out here on the page. versus in the group. In our private Facebook group, it's we talk to each other. It's people. I keep people posted more so on what's going on in my life here in Paris and in my world and in business, etc. So if you feel so inclined, go ahead and introduce yourself. I just love to see a name that I've never seen before, like Diane. That's fabulous. Hello, Diane. And I'm just going to go. So the three areas that I want to talk about today around leadership and becoming the woman, becoming the coach, becoming the entrepreneur. The 3 points. Hi, Cheryl. The 3 points that I want to speak to are, 1, who are you being? Number 2, what are you doing? And number 3, what are you committed to for 2017 and beyond? I'm going to start with what are you committed to for 2017 and beyond. So leadership is a long game. Leadership is a long game. There are people who have literally been watching me for 3, 4, 6, 8 years. I had a fashion company, and a woman who was a part of one of my events, like maybe 7 years ago, sent me a message saying, Naima, I've been following you since Glam Shop. And other people like, Naima, I've been following you for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And there's been so much change with me. No matter getting off course, coming back, forgetting who I am, which is very common when you're a leader and you're really called to do something that feels very big for you, that feels very grand for you, right? And what I know now that I didn't know then, that is really important for you to know, is that leadership is a long game. It's a lifetime game. And so at some point, if you haven't already, you're going to have to make a very mature adult decision that says, I'm going to give myself to this vision that God has endowed me with. Even if nobody really knows how to go about making the vision real. Like, most of us don't get a step by step, plan. As far as, we just get the vision. We have a deep knowing, and our job is to go. That's it. Our job is to go, and then the next step, and the next step, and the next step is revealed. I was talking about, and I was doing a Facebook Live for the radio show, maybe 10 days or so ago, and I was saying how people want God to give them steps 3 and 4 when they haven't even taken steps 1 and 2 yet. They want God to tell them what's going to happen next month. Well, what about next month? And what about 6 months from now? And what? You haven't even taken the first step, baby girl. And you want somebody to tell you what's happening 6 months from now? You haven't even demonstrated your faith and your commitment in the next 30 days, and you want to be endowed with the steps for 6 months from now? And so at some point, you're going to have to make the decision. I've had to make it, and everybody who I know who has this kind of holding, like being held, and no matter what, they elevate. Like, no matter how life punches them, or right, some blow happens, there's an elevation that happens, and they're continuously helping more people, and they're continuously expanding. There's a decision that's made along the path. A decision that you're giving your whole self to it, and that you're committing to the long game. You're not just committing because it feels good, or when it's convenient, or when you have the money, or when the kids are acting right, or when your hair and makeup turns out right, or as long as you're not PMSing, or you feel confident all the time, right? Commitment to the long game is being in the game, consistent, persistent, powerful, no matter what external circumstances are going on. So when I talk about what are you committed to for 2017, that's a question that you have to answer. I'm committed to showing up no matter how I feel. I was taking a shower today, and it's like sometimes messages come to me and it's like, not rhythmic is not the word, but it's like a call and response, kind of like the way things come to me. And I was thinking about the difference between the people who want to versus the people who are committed, the people who would like it versus the people who throw their whole selves in, the people who talk about it versus the people that do it. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, you only do it when it feels good. When you're confident and you're inspired and you feel powerful and you had your coffee and the sun is out and everything looks so good and I'm confident and I'm a boss and I'm like, you want to be a leader and you want to show up and you want to be powerful and amazing. You want people to praise you when it's convenient and when it feels good and when you feel like it. That's what we call princess behavior. That's what we call girl-like, childlike behavior. Ooh, I have my coffee. I did my yoga. It's a good day. The sun is out. Da, 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 da. But as soon as your hair doesn't turn out right, you get into a big fight with your boyfriend, the children aren't acting right, you have some kind of health scare, the bank account, money looking funny, your confidence is way low, like your negative self-talk is high, and you just like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm feeling like crap today. Your period just started, you bloated, right? Then you ain't so hot, right? You're questioning your commitment, right? Do I really want to do this? I don't know. I don't know if today is the day. Maybe tomorrow. I'm PMSing, and, I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking too big right now. Maybe I'm not ready for that. You know what I'm talking about. So the feelings, all these feelings, right, are fleeting. They come and they go. Today you feel good, tomorrow you feel like crap. When you have a good week, then you have a bad week, right? Those emotions are fleeting. They flow. They come and they go. They ebb and they flow. Commitment is solid no matter what is going on around it. Commitment is solid no matter what is going on around it. So, what commitment are you making for 2017 so that no matter what happens, because a lot of shit is going to happen in 2017. I know a lot of people feel like 2016 is behind us and maybe we're going to breathe a little better. Baby, you better know that 2016 was just a start. Really, 2016 sort of divided the people who was shucking and jiving from the people who were serious. That's what 2016 did. So you got people who, December 31st, today, yesterday, they're like, I'm excited, I'm on, I'm ready. And so much of what happened in 2016 prepared them for that. So that's the question you need to ask yourself. What are you committed to doing? And you could create a theme for yourself around this. Like last year, my theme was people will leave and that's okay. Because I had this big fear around team leaving, clients leaving, other people who were close to me leaving. And it started to show up in my lack of hiring people. It started to show up in the way I would keep myself away from people. And wherever you need to up your game, life will give it to you. And so my theme for 2016 was people will leave and that's okay. People will leave and that's okay. So whenever I would get triggered or feel like, oh God, are they leaving? People will leave and that's okay. People will leave and that's okay. So for 2017, you need to create a theme. I haven't determined what mine is yet. I have made some commitments, but I have not decided what my theme is. So my encouragement to you is to determine what your theme will be, okay? Who you will be. So let's go into that. Who are you being? Now this is, when I say this, I think it might sound kind of esoteric. Who are you being? Like, what does that even mean, who are you being? I mean, what's the essence that emanates from you? What's your dominant essence? That's what I mean, right? What's your dominant way of thinking? Are you someone who, once upon a time, my dominant way of thinking was, I'd be scrolling Facebook or out somewhere considering something or would get presented an opportunity. And my dominant way of thinking, it's more to being fit than just working out. I like it. Thanks for sharing, Cheryl. So my dominant way of thinking was first of all, I wouldn't even seriously consider things because I was in such poverty consciousness. Like I would see something and like I wouldn't even want to look at the price if I felt like it was something that I couldn't afford or knew I wasn't going to pay. Like, so my dominant way of being in everything was I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Like, I've talked about this so much on the radio show around how I would go into a store, a shopping store, and just go straight to the sale rack. This is what I mean. That was my dominant way of thinking. Wouldn't even go into a store and go straight to the sale rack. Like, who does that? Somebody who has a poverty consciousness, who has a dominant way of living that they cannot afford it. You haven't even looked at it. You've decided that you can't afford it. That was me once upon a time. So when I ask you, who are you being? I literally mean that. When you look at something, is it through a lens of fear all the time? Fear and self-doubt. When you're considering something, is it always about lower and smaller versus grander and bigger? Who are you being? So this is part of the work that I do with my clients. And by the way, what I realized is I sort of jumped straight into this. I'm feeling excitement and I'm feeling the newness of where I am now. It's feeling bigger for me being here in the group where there are over 13,000 fans, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be watching this later. And just the company is growing. The company is growing, and I had a rhythm with the way I was doing it before, and we're breaking that rhythm, creating a new rhythm. And you will be required to do that too as you're elevating. And I have support around this because I'm definitely feeling the woe-ness of it. And I've had to really be with myself and do some breathing and use the help that I've hired to help me, because it's so easy to take yourself out of the game from a place of fear and when you're ascending to the next level, whatever is the next level for you. So some of the work, a big part of the work that we do actually with our clients is the inner game stuff, because we all have the impulse. Those of us who are visionary, like if you're here, especially if you're watching the whole thing, you have resonance here, right? You know you've been called to lead something, to take something from idea and bring it out into the world. You have been called to do that. And so as you're doing that, you naturally have impulses to do things. And your reality, your current reality, oftentimes is so different from the reality that you're being called to create. Even for the next level, right? The next level could be calling for you to get a building. It could be calling for you to hire 3 different team members, but your current reality says, well, I don't have the money for 3 team members. I don't even know how to go. This building thing seems enormous and I don't know how to go about it. And what you need to know is who you're being is going to dictate if you even have the faith to move in that direction. Because as I've said before, if you have the impulse to do it, that means the way is always already available for you to make it so. Your job is to take the first step and then the next step and let the other steps be revealed to you. And this is the work that we have to do. This is the work that we work with our clients around. And it's so universal. You're not alone. It's so universal to have this impulse to lean into something that's bigger than where you are. I love it. It's just so thrilling when I think about that. You have this impulse to do something, and then your small self is like, "What? How am I going to do that? How am I going to hire, a marketing person and a web designer and a sales team member? Like, how, right?" And so the new way of being, this is what I want to encourage you to do. The new way of being is, instead of coming from a, how am I gonna, almost as if it's unbelievable and you're creating unnecessary drama and stress about it, how about you ask this question? How can I hire, or whatever the thing is that you're being impulsed to do? How can I hire the team member? How can I invest in the building that I'm being called to get? How can I do this? How can I have that? How can I go there? How can I create this new reality that seems way beneath me? And asking, dear God, what is the very next step? Not that thing way over there. No, dear God, what is the very next step? right here, right now, right here, right. What is the very next step that I can take to make it so? So, in your who are you being, that's what you want to do. And there's going to be so much maturation and training and life events that are going to happen to mature you. And it's going to separate the winners from the losers. It really is. The women who cultivate their quality of being and the quality of their mind, you'll see by the life that she lives. You'll see by the level of impact that she's having. You'll see by how she carries herself. You'll see by the words that come out of her mouth. The division between those who are advancing, those who are really doing the inner work, those who have support, those who have help, those who are making the investments, the financial investments, the time investments, the soul investments, the heart investments. It always shows. Results don't lie. They always show. So no matter what a person is talking about and talking, no matter how passionate, a person is, no matter how much a person says, I'm going to do it. 3 months from now, you see results. 6 months from now, you see results. A year from now, you see results. So we will see. And that's what we're here for. The Opulent Living Community is here to support you in making January 2018. Oh my God. January 2018, making January 2018 look radically different than it does now. So that's who are you being, all right? Finally, what are you doing? What are you doing, mama? What are you doing? What are you doing every single day? Every single day. What are you doing? What are you working on every single day in your business? What's the goal? Right? If the goal is 6 figures by Christmas of this year, what are you doing today to ensure 6 figures total before Christmas 2017? If the goal is multiple 6 figures, what are you doing today and every day? I did a radio show last week that talked about seed planting. What seeds are you planting? Remember, it's seed, time, and harvest. Seed, time, harvest. Seed, time, harvest. What seeds are you planting now to ensure your harvest even 90 days from now? And what seeds will you be planting 90 days from now to ensure a harvest 6 months from now? And so forth and so forth and so on. So what you need to do is you need to assess where your time is going every day. I'm going to tell you something my coach had me do, and it rocked my world in one of the best ways. And it had me so highly, my attention was so laser focused. Like, whoa. And the accountability of the coach makes such a huge difference. This is why we encourage it naturally, because when you have the accountability, when you know you have to give something to your coach who you've paid money to, and he or she is expecting that from you, you get it done. So my coach had me literally tracking what I was doing, everything I was doing in a day. When I went to the bathroom, when I was eating, when I was running errands, when I was having sales calls, when I was replying to email, when I was having meetings with team, when I was having meetings with her, when I was, when I took a break, when I finished for the day, literally looking at where all my time was going so I could see where there were leaks in my business, where there was time, because I always was feeling like, what am I doing during the day? I'm doing stuff, but I need to really know what I'm doing. I feel like I can be way more efficient with my time. And entrepreneurs, visionary women like us, are so easily distracted because we're big picture people, right? We get the big picture, and what we see is the castle in France with, the manicured lawn and the team, right? We see the big old, but then there's so much that has to happen way before that on a regular basis for that to become a reality, and we are not good with that. So we literally need other people involved that check us in a loving way to help us to create structure, help us to create order. And that's what I've had to get, and that's what I recognize my clients need, and so we help them with the same kind of structure, okay? So when I ask you, what are you doing? I mean, literally. What are you doing literally every single day? When you wake up, what does your first hour look like? When you're finally dressed and your makeup is done, if you do makeup, right? If you're finally dressed and you're working, what does working look like for you? Is the reality that it's like 30 minutes of frivolous Facebook stuff, and then it's, an hour of checking unimportant emails with other people's agendas and other people's urgency and other people's problem that has nothing to do with advancing your business? Is it you running errands that somebody else should be doing? Because running errands takes a lot of time. You're driving, right, if you're driving, right? Or if you're metro, and then you got it, right, traffic and the energy of just physically moving to do all these things versus giving that energy into money-generating activities or something that is exponential in growth versus something that is taking from you, sucking from you, leaking, right? You want to engage in things that harness your uniqueness, harness where you're strong at, and have that go into something that exponentially grows the business versus things that leak, things that take from you, that take from the business, okay? So this is all, this is that inner game stuff, the detail of the inner game and the outer, because the inner affects the outer. And these are all things that you need to assess within yourself. And you need to assess as well, and I'm emphasizing visionary and leader because that's who this is for. Like, if you're not a visionary and you're not a leader, naturally you probably left a long time ago. But my experience of being a woman who has always thought big and was like, I would just hop around and just so hard to just really focus. It was just so hard for me to look at, I've always been terrible with details. And this is common for visionary, big picture thinking people. And so if you are not, as a visionary leader, these are things that, gosh, I just cannot emphasize how much you need to really assess. I'm going to repeat it. Who are you being? What are you doing? And what are you committed to for 2017? So I hope you've written those down, and go honestly assess that and look at who you want to be in your world for 2017 and even beyond to help you be accountable. Okay? Help you be accountable, help you be able to talk things through. And naturally, I'm talking in a way that I think because I'm just so used to being in the group where women do know. So that part I just talked about was the inner and a little bit of the outer. Then there's the actual business strategy of helping you cross the 6 or multiple 6-figure mark. And what I noticed I didn't do today that I normally do is I open this radio show by saying, this is Naima Singletary with the Opulent Life Radio, where we help women coaches and visionary leaders cross the 6-figure or multiple 6-figure mark in their business in a year. So that's what we're about, and we recognize that the outer game is not powerful, it's not consistent or sustainable without strong emphasis on the inner game. So get your inner game intact, Ms. Visionary Leader, and naturally feel welcome to reach out to us if you would like to discuss what it would look like for us to support you, and that accountability and the structure and everything that we've talked about here today and so much more. So if you'd like to reach out to us, feel welcome. Questions at theopulentlife.com. Again, questions at theopulentlife.com. I am going to be here. We're trying this out, okay? I am going to be here every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern for the Opulent Life Radio Show. Right here, same time, same place, every Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and see how that works out. And if we want to modify something, we'll do that, okay? So it's all about change, it's all about efficiency, and it's all about connection. So we're trying things out to see what fulfills all three of those, and maybe even more. So lots of love, glad to be here with you, and I look forward to reconnecting here next week, same time, same place. Peace out, lots of love.